Good day everyone, I'm your teacher Rose and I'm going to discuss to you the language learning under the integrating active learning approaches, which means to form more active learning activities that can help to promote a higher order thinking skills in every learners and that can help learners to engage deep rather than surface learning. Lesson outcomes. First, the student should be able to discuss the concepts of the different learning approaches. Second, discuss how information and communication technologies will help develop and present language lessons using the different active learning approaches. The third one is to brainstorm on the possible products or outputs that will serve as an evidence of the learning of the developed learning outcomes of the learning plan using inquiry-based learning, problem-based learning, and project-based learning. And the last one is to integrate active learning activities in the development of language learning plans. Language learning. Language learning is to encompasses the development of macro skills o mga makrong kasanayan. When we say encompasses, ibig sabihin nito ay to open, to have, and to achieve such things. And sa topic natin ngayon, which is language learning, ay dapat na ma-achieve, mabuksan, at magamit at mahubog natin na ang macro skills o ang makrong kasanayan ng isang mag-aaral. Familiar naman na tayo sa kung ano ang macro skills o makrong kasanayan dahil napag-aaralan na rin natin to sa iba pang asignatura. Pero let's have a short recap tungkol sa mga ito at mas lalo pa nating kilalanin ang bawat isa nang sa ganun ay mas lalo nating maunawaan kung bakit language learning express in different ways. The first macro skill and the most important skill is the listening. Why do you think about listening to be the most important skill, not just in language, but also in communicating? Yes, you're right. Because listening is a mental operation that involves processing sound waves, interpreting their meaning, and storing them in everyone's memory. It is also a technique that requires the listeners to understand, interpret, and evaluate what they hear. Nagbibigay daan din ito o nakakatulong pa sa iba pang mga makrong kasanayan o macro skills to tower over the others because of its significance which is in terms of speech, discussion, and freedom of expression. Most individuals are not as skilled at listening as they think. Why do you think so? Bakit kaya? Dahil ayon nga sa pag-aaral, listeners likely remember 25 to 50% na kung ano lang ang narinig nila. Giving the speakers your undivided attention and not focusing sa kung anong sinasabi o i-response mo habang siya ay nagsasalita is a good way to ensure you hear more of what is being said. Hearing is simply the act of perceiving sound of the ear, while listening, however, is something you're aware, focus, and consciously choose to do. Remember that when we talk, you are only repeating what you already know. But if you listen, you may learn something new. The second macro skill is speaking. Speaking can be an intimidating experience, even in your native language or your mother tongue, let alone when learning a new language. The best way to learn how to speak is by practicing. Isang tabi o just put aside your inhibitions, hindrance, and yung mga barriers na hindi naman nakakatulong sa'yo to learn how to speak. Strike up a conversation whenever you are given an opportunity to do so. So when you speak, be aware of your pace and i-try mo na hindi mautal habang nagsasalita and please speak clearly. Kasi merong ibang tao na minsan nakaka-intimidate kausap. Lalo na yung mga taong sa bibig o sa paggalaw ng labi mo nakatingin. At syempre, consider being expressive when you talk. Let's avoid monotonous tone or yung mga boses na parang napipilitan ka lang magsalita tapos ang boring. Ang boring niyang pakinggan, yung parang bagong gising ka pa lang tapos may kumausap agad sa'yo. If you are not comfortable or confident sa language na ginagamit mo, then don't force yourself. The more kasi na pinipilit mong for example, to speak in English and then you are not yet fluent or confident enough to express your thoughts through speaking English is the more na ikaw sa sarili mo, hindi mo na naintindihan yung sinasabi mo. 'Di ba? How come pa kaya yung mga listeners o yung mga nakikinig sa'yo? Kasi expression adds interest and depth to what you are saying kung actively speaking ka. Full of knowledge ka rin, full of energy, well-prepared, at pinag-isipan mo talaga kung ano yung mga sinasabi mo. It will keep your listener interested at walang dull moments. Remember lang na don't speak if you don't know what you are talking about. The third macro skills in language learning is reading. Children learn to read by first learning their ABCs and sounding out the letters to discover what sound they make. Using sound units to figure out the words is the best approach to learn how to read. Because if you know the sounds, you can read anywhere. But it depends on the difficulty level ng mga binabasa mo. This is also the case when learning a new language. Reading has many benefits, including improving memory by exercising the brain, increasing vocabulary, and exposing you to new ideas. Remember that reading books is better than wasting your time on late-night conversation. The fourth macro skill is writing. Writing is the most complex or complicated skill in learning language because it takes the most time to master. As with any other skill, the craft or putting words on a paper is improved through practice and willingness to improve the past attempts. Writing can be a basic means of conveying information, such as newspaper, or it can be a tool to elaborate a new world, much more like fictional novel like Twilight, Lord of the Rings, and so on and so forth. Just remember, good writing is remembering detail. Most people want to forget. Don't forget things that were painful, embarrassing, or silly. Turn them into a story that tells the truth. Two decades ago, communication arts in English has introduced only 4 macro skills, but the breakthrough of the technology has come with the 5th macro skills both in English and Filipino, which is viewing. We are now living in a visual world, for which karamihan sa mga tao ngayon ay may internet na sa bahay or data sa iba. May kanya-kanyang mobile devices, mapabata o mapatanda, who allows to capture images and record videos and share it to social media platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Viewing is an active process of attending and comprehending visual media, such as television, advertising, images, film, diagram, system, photograph, videos, drama, drawing, sculpture, and also paintings. So therefore, importante ang viewing skill. So why? Because to a viewer who are dealing with mainly multimodal text, they need to understand them and to become more effective, active, and critical viewers to be able to participate fully in society. Nakakatulong din ang viewing sa isang estudyante para ma-develop ang kanyang kaalaman at kakayahan sa pag-aanalisa o pag-evaluate ng mga visual text and multimodal texts that use visuals. And it also helps students acquire information and appreciate ideas and expertises visually communicated by others. So every language teacher have the same concern kung paano nila maituturo ang mga kasanayang ito in a holistic manner. Do you think is it possible to target more than 2 or 3 of the macro skills in one learning activity? Yes, you're right. However, nakadepende pa rin ito sa isang guro kung anong active learning approaches ang gagamitin niya in facilitating the development of learning competency in language classroom. Pero ano nga ba ang active learning approach? Ang active learning approach is a method of instruction that allows students to actively participate in the learning process through a variety of individual and group activities. That process lets the students given a variety of ways to interact with each other and complete the activities. Activities such as discussions, presentations, games, worksheets, short reading, short writings, case studies or scenario like drama or short story, and survey. And while the learner are engaging the active learning approaches, they can also develop the other 21st century skills such as collaboration, media literacy, and critical thinking. There are 4 types of active learning approaches that introduce to enhance the teaching learning process. The first one is inquiry-based learning or IBL. The second one is research-based learning. And the third one is problem-based learning. And the last one is project-based learning or PBL. Let's discuss first the 2 types of active learning approaches, which is inquiry-based learning and research-based learning. So what is inquiry-based learning is? It is about emphasizing students' question, ideas, and observation. Enhances the comprehension of the student and is more than asking a student what he or she wants to know about the topic that you are talking about. And the last one, it is about triggering their curiosity. Ang mga estudyante ay natututo na sa pamamaraan ng pagtatanong mo sa kanila. Halimbawa, pagkatapos ng isang aralin, itinatanong mo sa kanila kung ano ang mga natutunan nila sa aralin na itinalakay mo sa kanila. That is what inquiry-based learning about. The second one is research-based learning or RBL. So what it is? It is to promote and develop student competencies related to research practice. So, ibig sabihin nito, nabibigyan ng opportunity ang mga estudyante na malayang makapag-research through the internet, through the use of internet, na mga bagay na gusto nilang matutunan. And it also benefit students through activities linked to research. Right? Alternative learning model that can develop the critical thinking skills of the student and means that the students carry out research in their courses independently and with an open outcome.